Hi guys, welcome back to Read Instead. I'm Jake. Glad to have you here today. We're going to review yet another 5-star read of mine, and that is All Quiet on the Western Front by Erich Maria Remarque. I'm looking forward to this. Stay tuned. Everyone is so. Not only ourselves here, the things that existed before are no longer valid, and one practically knows them no more. Distinctions, breeding, educations are changed and almost blotted out and hardly recognizable any longer. Sometimes they give an advantage for profiting by a situation, but they also bring consequences along with them, and that they arouse prejudices which have been overcome. It is as though formerly we were coins of different provinces, and now we are melted down and all bear the same stamp. To rediscover the old distinctions, the metal itself must be tested. First we are soldiers, and afterwards, in a strange and shame-faced fashion, individual men as well. So, if you guys remember in previous videos of mine, one in particular, I sort of talked about when I first started on this reading journey, how I made a decision that I would read for the sole purpose of just entertaining myself. And really I took up this notion and idea that if you read for allegory and deep meaning and the painting of words, as I like to say, prose, if you read for those reasons and you chased after those sort of things, if you exalted those sort of things, it made you like pretentious, I suppose. And I think that was actually sort of pretentious of me to have that opinion and to make that decision. And at some point in my reading journey, I actually, at a particular point, and that's why we're reviewing this book today, but I was that opinion changed of mine, and I started to really appreciate allegory and prose. Certainly, All Quiet on the Western Front was one of those books that changed my opinion on that. This book, in its plot, is pretty simple, and this book is about a young group of boys, German boys, who enter into World War I and their experience throughout the war. Just to let you know, I don't really feel like this is a spoiler, but the book's well enough read, I believe, and we'll talk about the movie too that came out a couple years ago. But as the book progresses and the story progresses, the group of boys, which I believe start out at about 6 or 7, really start to dwindle down. And the reason why this is a 5-star book for me, I'm not a soldier. I've never been a soldier. I've never been in the military. But I have friends who have been overseas and served, who are combat veterans and served in war and been in warfare and firefights and that sort of thing. And it seems to me that one of the most difficult things, something that seems impossible to describe to someone else who's never been there. There's plenty of things in life that we can say, well, you don't really know it until you experience it. I couldn't really explain it to you because you would just have to experience it for yourself. And I think there's no greater example of that than being in war. But I will say, while reading this and after reading it, I think Erich Maria Remarque, if there's such a thing as, he gives you an understanding. He puts you in the minds of these boys. He engrosses you with the feelings, the inner emotions, the feeling of loss, the feeling of fear, the feeling of the unknown and what's around the corner, the dire conditions that you're in sometimes in warfare, especially in 1915 warfare, a lot different than today. He gives you some understanding of that. That's what I came away with, and that's why I was so appreciative of it. He gives you some understanding of what it's like to be, especially a young man. I mean, the soldiers in this book they're boys. He allowed me as the reader, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but he allowed me to sort of grasp an understanding of warfare and what it's like to actually be in war. Another thing is the writing, the prose in this book is just absolutely incredible. I wanted to share that passage with you that I shared with you, because that's again, it's like it starts turning the wheels in one's mind as to what you become. It's almost as though you become you become an animal. You become completely subject to the war that's going on around you. It strips you of your personality. It strips you of compassion and other emotions that you would otherwise have outside of war, and it makes you somewhat machine-like. And he just describes this so perfectly. It takes away your identity. That's what it is. It's like it's just this book is very. It touched me. It really did. For lack of a better term, I know that sounds kind of cliche, but this book touched me. I also would like to mention that when it comes to movies based on books, and this is pretty weighty what I'm about to say now, this opinion, but it's true for me. And you can include all the Lord of the Rings movies. You can include, most movies are based on novels, but I think the All Quiet on the Western Front German film that came out, I believe in 2022, just a couple of years ago, is the best adapted book to movie I've ever seen. It's absolutely phenomenal. I would encourage you guys to watch that movie after you read the book, of course. But it's first of all, it's German based, so all the actors and everything are German, and it's in that language. If you don't mind reading subtitles, I would recommend keeping the German language. The movie was absolutely phenomenal. It's sort of like Saving Private Ryan, that sort of, I'm guessing that sort of budget and resources. It's that big of a movie. It was just awesome. Another one of the aspects of this book that is so touching and gripping and emotional is the relationship that the main character has with his friends around him, and each one of the friends sort of has a distinct personality and stuff like that. So when it comes time for the loss, it's very it's obviously sad. So All Quiet on the Western Front, a book that's near and dear to my heart. I would recommend it. It's not a big read. So All Quiet on the Western Front by Erich Maria Remarque. See you guys next time.